G'day everyone. Welcome to day 5 of Global Learning Week. I hope you've enjoyed our time together these past few days, and I know that our Microsoft team certainly has. Just hold on a second. Okay. One of the things that... sorry. Look, I apologise. What I'm trying to say is that we're all so grateful for your... It's just too much. Honestly, at the moment, I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed.
Hello, Mark. I thought you might be feeling just a little bit out of sorts.
Whew. Hello, Queen Serenity. You're absolutely right. I've been working remotely for a while now, but sometimes I'm still getting a little bit stressed out by it all. What do you think I should do?
You know, I think you would do really well on a quest for mindfulness. Anyone can become a mindful knight, so you just need to do 3 simple things first.
Awesome. What are those 3 things?
Start by taking a deep breath in. And then you slowly exhale out. And then you begin on your journey.
Hey, you know what? I feel better already. And I know just where to start. Let's go and check in with some of my friends.
Hey, everybody. I'm so glad you could join me today. Well, can I just introduce everyone? So, yeah, we have Claire. Hi, Claire. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Claire.
And Claire, remind us what grade you're in now.
I was in 3rd grade. Today's the last day of school, so technically I'm in 4th grade.
Yep, congratulations.
You made it.
And then my teacher friends, thank you so much for joining me today. Jan White and Anuja Singh, amazing teachers of programming and English literature. So thank you so much for being here. And I'm Susanna Calvary. You all know me, but it's good to see you. So we just want to talk a little bit about social emotional learning and Minecraft. So I know all of us have started to experiment this year with how Minecraft works to learn different things, using it in the classroom or using it at home during our remote learning experiences. And I asked the 3 of you to come and talk to me about it because I know that you've all had different experiences and you all have something different that you can add to the conversation. But I want to ask a few questions if that's okay.
Sure.
Claire, can I start with you? So you got to do the Mindful Night quest. And this is a brand new Minecraft quest that came out this year. Did you have to think about your feelings more when you did the Mindful Night quest than you do during normal like reading and math homework?
Well, usually, personally, I have this lack of confidence problems when it comes to math. So actually, yes, I did have to think about it a little more than I usually do.
And did you like that? Did you think that, oh, this is good that I have to think about my feelings instead of just like pushing them down or not thinking about them?
I actually felt actually felt better when I actually thought about my feelings. It helped me stay calm, personally.
I'm so glad you said that because that is one of the things about mindfulness, right, that we want to be thinking about. So in that quest, do you remember one of the different exercises that you had to do and maybe what it was like for you to experience that?
Yes, I remember when I had to face the dragon and build something. Both me and my brother were doing this, but I stayed calm because we had to leave a little early, so I couldn't actually finish it because my brother was having a meltdown because the dragon took all his armor, and I'm like, Cameron, I think it's programmed to do that so we can learn more about mindfulness and keep staying calm.
You're absolutely
It's really tough.
Yeah, it is tough, isn't it? It's so tough. But you learned a few of the other activities. So you had to, you had to think about your feelings and you had to even write about your feelings in the journal. And you had to do some deep breathing exercises. And
to do a lot of deep breathing at home.
Yeah, yeah, that happens sometimes. So I'm going to ask our teachers, I'm going to come back to you, Claire, but I want to ask our teachers something because You've gotten the opportunity to use Minecraft Education Edition, Jan, as an alternative assessment in your classroom. Why did you choose to use it as an assessment for your students?
I think one of the main reasons I chose to use it was because I wanted to give those students who don't necessarily shine in essays to shine in something that they knew well. So I felt like I had a whole group of kids who I know loved Minecraft. And I think enjoyment sparks curiosity and sparks creativity. And we'd already done all the hard work of learning and skill building for that particular section. I think we were working on Animal Farm. And so for them to be able to present a synthesized kind of idea and an answer to a problem using something they enjoyed, I think that was good.
And did you see a different response from your students? So when you think about the social emotional aspect and Minecraft, why should teachers consider that as an option?
Well, first of all, because it ignites excitement. So instead of going like, oh, I've got to do an assignment, it's kind of like, yes, I get to do an assignment. And instead of, I had to answer parent emails explaining why their kids are having fun doing homework. Yes, Minecraft is homework. So,
yeah, Claire,
what do you think?
Well, it kind of relates to the homework thing and like having fun doing an assignment. Like personally, I love doing homework, but at JME, you have to wait till 3rd grade to do homework. And I'm like, no. So it's really fun.
That's good. I'm glad you enjoyed that part of it. Anuja, when you think about remote learning, you were implementing quite a lot of Minecraft Education Edition in your remote learning classes with your primary grade students. How do you feel Minecraft Education Edition has been particularly effective in ways that other teaching styles maybe aren't as effective?
Actually, we were doing the innovation lab as part of our curriculum. And since we were not able to do that, we wanted the children to learn creatively, do problem solving, as well as a lot of collaboration as part of the innovation lab. So Minecraft actually fit in quite perfectly there, where we could do it remotely. They were collaborating with each other, they were problem solving, and their creativity was coming out very beautifully. And having a platform that children are already comfortable using and are so happy. It's that instant excitement of working off of a game was something really good. I think it had a lasting impact on their learning to be able to do it practically. Yes.
So both you and Claire have mentioned something that I want to revisit. And Claire mentioned how she tried to coach her brother through some experiences. And you just mentioned the term collaboration. So how were the kids collaborating when they're all in separate homes doing remote learning? And tell me about what you saw.
Okay, so Minecraft has a multiplayer angle, which we did not want to use a lot. I was just worried about the learning getting affected with different Wi-Fi connectivity issues and all of that. So we decided that we would do single player, all of us. We would do challenges to learn. And we started with just getting comfortable with the platform, getting comfortable with the game, how it's different. And then we would start from a live event and one challenge. Everybody would go to their game, finish it, and come back. So for the older grades, I also wanted them to take a picture or a video of what they had built. So there was a little bit of self-discovery there to say, how am I going to use the camera? Am I going to add it to my inventory and then be able to take pictures? Of course, from me, it was beautiful to see the videos of how they had built their tree house or how their spaceship looked as they were talking about it. But the collaboration was amazing. We would put questions in the chat for the live event, and they would come back so eager to see the questions that other students had put in and how they could add to that. So helping each other, not just as part of playing the game, but also solving problems as they were discovering new things. And it was amazing to see.
I took this class, it's comedy and combat. That doesn't really matter though. But what my teacher said was, yay, failure. celebrate what's wrong, and you can learn from that. Mistakes are great. You can learn.
Yay, failure.
Yes, absolutely. And that's part of what that mindful night quest is too, isn't it, Claire? Because
Yay, failure!
yeah, the dragon makes you fail at the end over and over again, doesn't it?
That's what I said. It's programmed to hate anything.
Yep, yeah. And so we have to learn how to deal with it and how to move forward. So Claire, you got to experience that mindful night lesson with me. Would you recommend using that lesson for other teachers to use that lesson if they want to help their students learn more about mindfulness?
Well, I actually think it's a great idea because, first of all, you two already did it, and because what you told me, I'm feeling like this is a great thing to teach other classes.
And what do you think? What do you think is the best part of the quest? What was your favorite? Was it Queen Serenity, or was it talking to all of the people along the paths, or was it the quest?
I like strong and powerful women. So Queen Serenity was one of my favorite characters. I also like the calm and peaceful part because I'm not very much of a fighter. My brother, you don't need to know.
So that calming part, that was really, like, you felt that was a good part. I think that was one of the most powerful parts of it for me too, Claire, because so often we go from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, and we don't take that time to calm down and to center ourselves and to take a moment to reflect on what we're feeling and to breathe. Exactly. And because the Mindful Night quest gives us that chance to do those things, we learn better how we can do them next time in other situations. Well, everybody, I really, really appreciate your taking the time to speak with me today. And I want to say have an amazing summer. Yay! School's out. Last day. Have a really great time. And maybe you'll check out some more of those build challenges from Minecraft Education Edition over the summer. I know we're going to be doing some in my house.
Nice to meet you, Claire.
I'm really glad that I was able to do this.
Thank you. Me too, Claire.
Hey, it's Sarah. Thanks for joining us today. Now, give it to us straight. What are the facts and figures all about game-based learning?
Sure thing. So we know games are great for intrinsic motivation and building empathy. Let me show you some stats. In a 2017 study, more than 90% of teachers surveyed said students improved their creativity, critical thinking, and collaboration skills, the 3 C's. In the same study, 97% of teachers cited problem solving as the top skill students gained. And then a 2019 report showed that students using Minecraft Education Edition demonstrated improved creativity, higher engagement, and better teamwork. And why does that matter, Mark? Emotion is the gatekeeper of attention, motivation, and cognition.
Yeah, that's incredible. Minecraft Education Edition is just as fun as it is beneficial for student development. It's the best of both worlds.
It really is. And I could run the numbers all day, but it's no comparison to seeing the real world impact, especially when it comes to remote learning. And speaking of which, I'd really like to introduce you to a friend of mine.
Hello everyone, my name is Ben Kelly. I am a grade 6 through 12 STEM teacher in New Brunswick, Canada. I am an experienced global Minecraft mentor, and I'm a Microsoft Innovative Educator Fellow. I have a story for you today that is Canadian, but it could have happened anywhere on Earth. When our school system fell apart on March 13th, our system was left struggling for what was next. In that time, there was very little guidance happening for students, and a local organization named Brilliant Labs stepped up in a big way. They said, hey, let's make a Minecraft server for the kids of Atlantic Canada so they can continue being collaborative and being creative and keeping that social piece that school offered every single day. They enlisted my help to create the world, the server, and we made a special place for the students of Atlantic Canada. It had 6 different zones built in, There was 2 free play zones. There was a community of the future zone where kids could build the community of the future. There was a school of the future zone where they could build their ideal school of the future. There was a sustainable development goal zone where they could actually build solutions for the goals. And then finally, because everybody was trapped in their homes, we decided to allow them to build their dream home, their dream quarantine home. And some of those homes that they built were special. Well, kids started filing into this server at 9 a.m. sharp every day, and it got quite popular. They were working collaboratively. It was a well-running classroom, to put it in those terms. One day I noticed there was a kid that had just joined the server who was being a little bit mischievous. So I decided to stop and ask, hey, can I help you? Is there something you need? The student told me very quickly, I have no friends. Well, at first I thought they meant their friends hadn't joined them in the server yet. So I waited and I asked a few more follow-up questions, and then it became very apparent that this student was telling me, no, in real life, I have no friends. So I took that time to very quickly act, and I said, listen, in Minecraft, in this server, everybody in here is friends. We're all friends. You have tons of friends in this server. That's all it took. Just a little moment to ask a question and respond quickly with a motivational, energizing statement. And that kid went from mischievous and lonely to being a leader in the server. That student was the first one in every single day. He spent the entire day greeting others as they arrived in the server. He'd be the last to leave at the end of the day, milking every last second out of the server. And most importantly, he became an organizer of events. So he ran fireworks displays where he would gather a crew together and say, meet at 2 p.m. daily and we'll launch fireworks from these different zones. He made a point of highlighting new builds. So when someone built a cool new castle, he moved the fireworks display to their castle, maximizing the people that saw the builds. This child, who was once a question mark in our minds, became a leader and actually helped the admin of the server significantly. The taste of leadership that this student got from this opportunity, we don't know where that's going to land that student. All we can hope for is that the taste of leadership and the taste of community that they got from this server will lead to a beautiful life far beyond the pandemic for this child. Now, there's no stats, there's no numbers and graphs that I can show you about the impact of Minecraft on this child. This is one anecdotal tale about a student in Minecraft whose life was changed not only during a pandemic, but far beyond the pandemic with a little taste of leadership and an opportunity. So, there are wonderful stories about Minecraft all over the world. This is just one of them that happened to happen in Canada. I want to thank you for taking the time today to listen to my story, and thank you for letting me share my story. If you are into Minecraft as much as I am, or if you are just beginning Minecraft in the classroom journeys, please find me on Twitter. I'm at BBTNB. I also have a website where I share Minecraft resources frequently, bbtnb.com. And I want to thank you all for sharing the passion that I have for Minecraft in the classroom and in general.
Hey everyone, my name is Laura and I teach middle school Spanish in Franklin, Tennessee. I have been teaching for 8 years, completed my master's degree at the University of Tennessee, and I have been integrating Flipgrid for 3 years now with my middle school students and their families on a regular basis. So as an educator, I think the most important thing we can do as teachers is to show kids that we care about them before we even introduce our content. And especially during distance learning, it's very important that the kids know that we are checking in with them constantly. And furthermore, to reach out to their families because we're not all together. So I think being able to show your face and write messages and leaving video messages really connects the kids. And so when they log onto their Chromebook, they see me and then they see their peers. So it just really helps them emotionally feel invested in the course, but they're also seeing one another. And I think that has really helped them stay engaged, and then their parents feel supported by us teachers too, because they're being connected with us regularly.
So how do you bring those parents into the classroom for those students?
So I have hosted a lot of Flipgrids, and the first one that I did and this was a while ago, was to do like a meet and greet, a very informal, this is me, Miss Lavery, your child's teacher. And I just wanted them to introduce their parent or guardian. We had like moms, dads, siblings, babies, cats and dogs running around on their video. And so that was just like a short 30-second video to introduce themselves. So I think that informal video was just a really good way to say like, hey, this is me. This is your teacher. And then after that, I started hosting the weekly, like, introduce your pet to me. And so then the students were like showing me their favorite stuffed animal even, and then I got to know like more about the kid, not just them in my classroom taking the assessments. And then we would do like, tell us about family traditions. So they would share with me like special things that they do as a family, and that was very unique because that provided me with a lot of insight like about their culture or how they celebrate different holidays. So that was really fun. And then the students got to learn a lot about each other in a different way because all of their messages are on the same grid, so they could reply back to one another and learn about each other. And that's a really powerful practice to see as a teacher too. I think the parents also appreciated knowing that I was reaching out to their child and that they like, oh, this is something that the teacher uses all the time. And so they were kind of getting familiarized with the Flipgrid as well, because that is a tool that I use on a daily basis throughout the classroom. So I think they appreciated like seeing it actually integrated, and then they were interacting as well. They were on the camera. Their student was showing them how to use the tool. So that's really fun to see too, then like all together in the classroom, which that probably would never have happened. So I shared a grid that focused on grandparents, and a lot of students, grandparents either live here locally or around the world. So I thought that would be a cool way to bridge my students with me and others. So I created the link, and we had grandparents like from all over, and that was really fun because you're right, the kids, they feel empowered to like reach out to their grandparent, which I think is also shows empathy, you know, that they're caring about someone that's from a different generation. And then they're integrating the tech tool. And so I could tell like it was very fun for a lot of the grandparents just to like see themselves on the grid. And then also it would be very difficult to have all the grandparents in the regular classroom. So that was just awesome to see like several grandparents and their faces, and then I could bring up the grandparent's name in conversation, just make small talk. But that's investing in the kid collectively that I would never have been able to do before. So that was so fun to see that. First piece of advice is to download Flipgrid if you haven't already. And I think a really good idea that I've seen and I did is I had different people leave my students messages of encouragement. And so it was kind of like a surprise when the kids got on the grid, because I had our local mayor, he left us a message. I had my own mom leave my kids a message. So I think the first thing you can do is like just start a grid and get community members or your colleagues to leave messages. And you know, it's okay if you just have one or two in the beginning, because you're going to build momentum. And if you reach out to the Flipgrid community, they're super helpful, and other educators will definitely record messages for your students. You know, if you just tweet them out, the Flipgrid for all, people are so willing to help, and just start grids, you know, to encourage the kids. And then I also would take it a step further to like create some kind of theme, like introduce your parents or show me your favorite food on Flipgrid, and then they're going to be invested, because they're going to see like, I want to see my teacher and I want to see all my peers. And I always encourage teachers like to make sure that you make a video on your grid, because if you want your students to be invested in a tool, you also have to be invested. And even if the kids are camera shy, which I have some of those, you know, still tell them to like use their voice to talk to one another. But it's okay if like they don't feel comfortable with the camera, because you still want their voice to matter. Best of luck on your quest, Mark.
G'day, Leon. I'm so glad that you could join us here. Now, you're a living, breathing university student, and we're curious to hear from you. about what your experience with remote learning has been like, how you've been staying connected with friends, with professors, and managing the work.
Well, it's been quite challenging, to be honest, but with the help of Teams and video chat, screen sharing, and all that kind of stuff, it's been a lot easier than I anticipated.
So you mentioned the use of Teams and some things that you've been using. How has your use of it shifted as you've moved to completely remote learning?
Well, it's been a lot. It's shifted a lot since how it originally was when we were in the classroom, where we wasn't using Teams obviously this much. We were still using it, but it's become where the main medium through which we've been communicating with teachers and other students and receiving help for our work and feedback and so on. So yeah, it shifted quite a lot.
Okay, so you've been using it both for organisation as well as for collaboration and management of content and assignments?
Yeah, exactly. We've with the use of this channel system that you have in Teams for one team, we've been able to have different teachers in different channels for our different units of the course, to give us, the different feedback and help that we've needed for different assignments.
Oh, that's great. I've heard from people that, the fact is, though, that there's that persistent chat that's organised within channels means that people can also catch up on conversations that have happened rather than wading through the thousands of emails. So I imagine that's similar for lots of people.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot more helpful than just a kind of text-based system like email or a website that we would usually traditionally use.
So let's talk about pressure. As a university student, you'd be really aware that any times of transition can have a huge impact on sort of our emotional well-being. And I'm interested to know what's helped your emotional and mental health during this period of time, particularly the things that maybe you've done or your lecturers have done to help people feel connected and included.
We've had a lot more communication actually than usual through this remote learning, I think because it's been a requirement because of this level of isolation everyone has been put into. And I understand, especially for us younger people, we kind of need that tutoring, that teaching, the counselling. So we've been using a booking system with our tutor, which has allowed us to have one-to-one communication with our tutor and other of our teachers. We've been able to speak to them personally and get feedback, and they would give us praise through the praise badges that can be given on Teams, which would kind of give us a boost sometimes or an encouragement. And I personally received from my tutor some feedback, such as just to tell me, you're doing well, don't worry, keep going. And it's been really helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really glad that you mentioned some of those approaches and features like praise to be able to recognise effort or achievement. The use of booking systems to allow for one-to-one conversations with tutors, whether it's a video call like we're having now, or simply private messaging just to check in, how are you going? So these are all great things that you've shared, Leon. So thanks for doing that. And thanks for taking the time to join us here in the Global Learning Week, share those insights as a living, breathing university student about remote learning. We wish you well with your continued studies.
Thank you, Mark, and I wish you well on your journey and on your next stop.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm head of content at BET, the world's largest education show. At BET, we believe in dialogue, and we provide a platform for innovation where technologies, practices, ideas, and people unite to create meaningful conversations. Over the past few months, we've been supporting educators via our community hub on the website betshow.com. Here you will find articles written by educators from around the world, films from our live shows, and resources from suppliers. We've also launched a series of webinars, the Betcast. We recently hosted a session on wellbeing with speakers from the US, Spain, and the UK. The following clip shows two of our panelists talking about the importance of teachers taking the time and allowing themselves the grace to look after their own well-being. After all, how can we expect educators to be able to support their students if we have not helped them to look after themselves? Head over to our website, betshow.com, if you'd like to find out more.
We speak about the student well-being, but obviously as school leaders, there's a big responsibility, and particularly for Andy, who I think is having a problem with his signal. It's a huge responsibility to think about the teacher well-being. So perhaps you guys, you can see he's coming back, perhaps you guys can talk about that. Andy, we're just going to talk a bit about teacher well-being now. Sarah, do you want to just begin there?
Sure. As you say, Sarah, staff wellbeing is so important. We can't expect our people body to know how to emotionally regulate or do a whole range of things if they're encountering staff who are struggling with that stuff themselves. And I suppose, I think one of the most basic things was just as a senior team to keep communicating with our members of staff, even if we didn't have a great deal to say, but just to say, this is what we know, this is what we think is going to happen in the next few days. We're really appreciating how much people are learning and changing their practice so quickly, and to celebrate great practice when it had happened, which happened all over the place. So it was lovely to be able to get our colleagues who had learnt new skills to kind of share those across the staff body. I think particular members of staff were vulnerable, and it was important to notice who those vulnerable groups are. The teachers who were living alone and were going to spend a lot of time in isolation. I think there was another group of us who had small children who were going to be working and homeschooling at the same time. There was safeguarding concerns. There was, parent guilt about how you're going to do that and also do your day job. And of course, our furloughed staff. So in the UK, we were given the option to furlough staff who weren't able to do their jobs remotely. And although in some ways that's lovely to be having a paid holiday, the reality for those staff is that many of them find it very difficult, and keeping them connected and making sure that they still feel valued and part of the community, and encouraging departments to do social activities. Although they couldn't do any work with our furloughed staff, we can certainly all have virtual coffee breaks and drinks on a Friday evening to make sure people are connected.
Thank you. Andy, how can you talk a bit about how you've worked with your 1,500 teachers?
Sure. I think it's very similar to others. I think number one, it's about the structures and routines and maintaining those. And I think that a variety of ways to do that. We this year we have 28 schools in Schaumburg. So what we did is we divided those into home teams, and it's a concept that we use to create smaller units within a very large school district. And my cabinet would very specifically dial into those home teams with a very structured check-in point. And then from there, the building principals, system principals would do the same. And I think, it's really back to the routines, the structures, but it's really about messaging. And I think, from in this time period, as we learn how to do virtual learning, my message to all of the community, from students, parents, and staff, was prioritize your own well-being, do the very best that you can. And it's really self-care and really giving yourself some grace to know that, as Sarah just mentioned, we're asking teachers to teach while they're maintaining their young children at home, a nearly impossible task. And I just kept messaging well-being, and also, take care of yourself, but do the best you can. And that's all that I ask. And I think the messaging of that's really critical through it together. So it's a little bit of how we did it. I think, adult SEL comes first. So it was really important that be the message.
Mark, hello. I am so proud of all the incredible progress you've made today.
Thank you, Queen Serenity. It's been quite a journey.
It has indeed. And for your valiant effort, compassionate heart, and social awareness, I'd like to present you with the Certificate of Knighthood, Sir Mark.
Wow, thank you so much. I can't believe it.
Speaking for myself and Queen Serenity, thank you, Mark, for showing us all the importance of social emotional learning inside and outside the classroom.
Barbara? Ha, I knew that voice sounded familiar. Well, my friend, I won't let you down, or Queen Serenity.
I know you won't, Mark. Just remember to breathe. Much better.
It's just like magic. I'll see you at the ceremony.
See you then. Mark's journey, I think, is one we can all relate to, especially if you're like me, and the rapid change we've experienced in the last few months has us all feeling anxious. And practicing mindfulness can really help quiet the doubt and bring us into the present moment. Mindfulness also includes reflection and perspective, recognizing where we've been, where we are now, and what's next. Research from our study about the class of 2030 revealed that student well-being is a crucial foundation for learning social and emotional skills, which can be twice as predictive of a student's academic achievement as home environment and demographics. During our Staff of 2030 study, new teachers told us about the ways they expect to change the profession of teaching. One of the ways many teachers noted is through an intentional focus on social and emotional learning. The Staff of 2030 now have an unprecedented opportunity to create an entirely new education environment that supports not only the academic success, but the social and emotional success for all types of learners. So while no one can predict exactly what will happen, what we do know is that when schools physically reopen, teaching and learning will not look the same. We know that it's never been more important to support teachers by providing training, professional development, and opportunities for peer collaboration. As a technology company, providing the tools and training to help educators in remote and hybrid settings is our top priority. In the words of UNESCO Assistant Director General Stefania Giannini, education is foundational for the well-being of society, so learning must continue no matter what. So no matter where we are, physically.
はい、こんにちは。私は日本の工学院大学
all the way from Cape Town, South Africa.
And emotionally.
It just feels really sad. The heart had gone out of what we were doing.
Even if we make mistakes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, new take.
Wait, no. Wait. No.
We still have a lot to be proud of.
A 4.5 out of 5. I think there's always room for improvement.
That take was pretty good.
And in the end, we will succeed because we're a community that supports one another. And what a week it has been.
I'll say, Barbara, I've learned so much and I'm so grateful for all of the students, the teachers, and the school leaders who were able to help me to complete my quest. I don't know what we would have done without them.
I couldn't agree more, Mark. And as the week comes to a close today, I'd like to express my heartfelt thanks to all of the educators out there who have worked so hard to keep their students feeling connected and cared for during this time.
Hey, Barbara, what do you say we bring in a few friends to help us thank everyone for joining in the fun this week?
You're reading my mind. You guys ready?
Thanks so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks again for joining us, everyone.
You're the ones who made this Global Learning Week possible.
We hope that you had as much fun as we did, and if you're looking for more virtual adventures from our team, check out Connected, hosted by Microsoft Canada, and also Flipgrid Live, both coming up June 29th.
Thank you.